Hello and welcome to Bitesize Edge. So this afternoon, I had the pleasure of speaking to the very lovely Anat Shabi, who, to introduce her, I would say, well, there is a number of things I could say, but we're going to get to that as we start chatting. So let me introduce Anat as a personal and business development coach, among other things. So hello, Anat. Nice to have you with me today. How are you?
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. It's very exciting.
Welcome. Very welcome. How are you doing on this very sunny day?
I am full of the joys of spring, having had a lovely weekend in the sun.
Oh, yeah, makes such a difference, nice. Doesn't it?
Just really does.
That
really
vitamin D injection.
Absolutely.
And before we started our podcast, we had the videos on and we were saying hello, and you laughed actually at the fact that I've got nice white marks around my eyes from my sunglasses.
Yes. Jules looks like she's been away skiing for a week.
In fact, I haven't. I'm just paranoid about the lines around my eyes. I always wear my sunglasses, but then I do look a little bit like a panda. But anyway, that's not for this conversation. So thank you for joining me today, Anat.
Thank you.
We've known each other a few years now. We go back a little while in some of the facilitation and training work that we've done. But you are now a personal and business development coach. So tell me a little bit about that. What does that involve?
Very good question. I think for me, what is essentially at the heart of what I do is enabling other people to kind of see, first of all, the best in themselves, and then how would you go about using it in your day-to-day, either in your personal life or in your work life. And a lot of this is about communication skills, so knowing how you like to communicate, how you like to work, and then extrapolating that to then, well, how would you flex to work with other people? And it's really funny, when you work in that plane, what then happens is that you end up investing so much more in your own development. And I think, over the years, I have done so many different courses myself just to try and understand myself better, but also how to then bring that offering to other people. And it's really exciting. I think something magical happens when you see someone else developing. Firstly, for me, I feel like I've added value, but also it gives me hope, because I kind of think, wow, if that degree of change is possible in other people, then first of all, I can change as well, but also there is hope for us, as a society. Absolutely. So it's quite an optimistic place to be in.
That's fabulous. We love a bit of optimism and a bit of positivity, especially in this very surreal place that we find ourselves in. We were talking before we started this podcast about work, and you said actually you're still really quite busy, although most of your time is spent in a training room connecting with people face to face. It's been, I'm guessing, a fairly easy is not probably the right word, but quite a simple shift from that to the virtual world, from a point of view and being able to coach people. Has that felt fairly simple and easy, or am I putting words there that really shouldn't be there?
Well, it's interesting, Jules. I think what has been easy is that the content is obviously very similar. Yeah. I think where I've had to make a lot of change is that you lose so much of the cues, in terms of body language and in terms of energy. The screens are very two-dimensional, and without those hints and tips and kind of way of engaging with each other, it has been a bit more difficult. And it does take, I've found, it has taken a lot more energy after facilitating a day online. I feel more exhausted than if I am with people, because when I'm with people, I just feel more energized normally. So
yeah, I absolutely hear you on that one. It is exhausting. I mean, we've been running 90-minute sessions, and next week we embark on our first virtual training course. We're doing timeline therapy and hypnosis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a really different course. The content, as you just said there, will be very similar, but from a point of view of that connection, it's as if as the facilitator and the trainer, you just have to work that bit harder because you've got that barrier of a screen, right? So it's an interesting one, and it's going to be, there will be challenges, but it's also, I'm quite excited by the opportunity to do that. And I'm guessing, that's how we've got to see things, just thinking as we move forward, we've not got to, we can choose to, because everything's about choice, but choosing to be positive and optimistic and looking forward at how we can flex and change things in order to still be able to connect and help people.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you, Jules. I think, as humans, we are absolutely amazing. We don't know how much we know. We don't know how much our brains are capable of. And here we are, with this huge disruption to the usual way that we conduct ourselves in our business. And our brain all the time is looking for other ways of getting around it. And I think that the key is to go with whatever crazy idea you've got, because the other thing I'm finding, I don't know about you guys, but the other thing I'm finding is, because people are so hungry for connection, because people are so hungry to continue learning and developing, they are very forgiving on the other side of the screen. So if any of our listeners are sitting there wondering whether to try something out or not, now is absolutely the time to go for it, because your audience are A, hungry for it, and B, they're going to be so much more forgiving if like technology lets you down, or if something doesn't go right. It's okay. That's what I've been finding.
And that's such a fantastic piece of advice, I think. This is the opportunity. If we see it as such, this is a place for opportunity and possibility, and it's okay. And we've got to be kind to ourselves, and just tap ourselves on the back sometimes at the moves we make.
Yeah. And you know what? The other thing that is encouraging is obviously the quest for your own self-development. So I've been on several courses just to enrich my own ability to facilitate. And, just observing these other people, I'm thinking, well, it's not rocket science what they're doing. They're not doing anything that, other than the content, they're not doing anything that we couldn't do. So, if you need the extra boost, go put yourself on a little course and just see how other people are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many about. You just jump onto Eventbrite. Gosh, I've got loads booked in the diary.
What's your craziest one, Jules? What's your craziest?
I've been doing, so they're not particularly crazy, but I've got one tomorrow, Anat, which for me, as somebody who's highly kinesthetic and not very tech savvy, I'm doing Instagram for business, which scares me slightly, but we'll see how that goes. But I've also been doing something with a lady called Katie Elliott, who, fascinating lady who does little big connections. And for the past 70 days, she's been running these 1-hour sessions on all sorts of topics. I've done self-care, I've done purpose, all sorts of things. And it's amazing because there's people coming in. She only takes 6 on the call from all over the world. So on one call, I had somebody in Canada, in Berlin, and North Wales, and in France. And it was just incredible. So yeah, I, like you, I'm wanting just to keep my brain ticking along and keeping myself in that space of learning in order to be able to then, help others, I guess. Talking about weird and wacky, and I don't think it is weird and wacky, but I think it's quite a nice link in, Anat, to the work that you're doing with Lego. Talk to me about this.
Lego. So Lego, thanks, Jules. Lego is really work with a tool called Lego Serious Play. So it's using Lego, but actually it has a very serious application. It's a tool that was designed initially for strategic planning. And I came across it because I was looking for something, I don't know, maybe more kinesthetic to use, a prop, if you like, to use in my coaching practice. And when I came across it, what I realized was that it wasn't any longer about the relationship I had with the coachee. It was more about them and their involvement with building whatever was going on for them with Lego. And then they were able to add pour meaning, if you like, into the model and reflect on it. It's so easy to reframe when you've got a 3D model of whatever challenge or even a goal that you're going for. And the other thing that's amazing when you're working with Lego is that it's very easy to tell a story when you've got a prop. Yeah. So I've used it with children, I've used it with people who are more reflective. I don't know about you, but sometimes in a meeting or in a group situation, you've got about 20% of the people who launch into speaking very quickly. And the other 80% are still thinking. And by the time they've kind of thought what they want to say, it's over. They've moved on to another topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what happens when you're kind of on a team Lego workshop? Everybody's building. You always have a purpose, okay? So you always set out the intention for the workshop. Everybody's building. And in that time of building, A, it's very engaging, but B, everybody is reflecting. Everyone is thinking. So when it comes to sharing, everybody's ready to share. So it's just a very inclusive forum. And once people start sharing, that's when the insights arrive, because once you've articulated something, you've turned your model a different way around, and then the penny drops. So we've had some real emotive revelations, all sorts of things happen, and it just makes it so much more interactive than just staring at the screen. So I have to say, sorry, by the way, I have to say that if you'd said to me 2 months ago, would you do a Lego workshop online? I would have said to you, don't be so crazy, Jules. No way on earth. How could you possibly, but again, it's what I was saying about our brain looking for solutions, looking for shortcuts. And there's always a way. And we invariably always have the answer. We just don't know it.
I love that. I love that. And as you were saying that, it really kind of made me think, oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. Because what it allows this group of people to do is almost find a place where everybody is equal. And equal is probably the wrong word. But you were saying there, the 20% who are the voices and quite quick to bring their ideas or their opinions to the table, where you've got the other people who are sitting back and reflecting, but giving them something tactile, something to move with and play with and create with in that moment, being very much focused on that one thing. Everybody is in the same space. And I really love that then of bringing their ideas and sharing their ideas. They've had time. That's what in those group scenarios, often people just don't feel like they're being given that time to find what it is that they want to say. I love that as an idea. And the fact that you're doing it virtually.
I know. Well, I think that to me, I mean, it's not till you do something like that virtually out of necessity rather than choice, that you realize that you've transcended because quite often when you're on a webinar or a workshop virtually, the main kind of criticism is that you can't necessarily go as deep because it's the medium doesn't allow for that. And I think that is something that you can do with obviously various tools, but certainly with Lego. And you mentioned the word equalizer. I actually think it is the right word, because if you think that you've got a hierarchy in the team, your manager is sitting there with his employees and everybody has a voice, and the manager's voice is not more important, because everybody's idea and model has whatever meaning they've put on it. So there's never any wrong answers either. It's just a real gift.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And oh God, there's so many things we could talk about, because we could go right back to what you are trained in, which is as a pharmacist. I mean, we could talk about the fact that you're a pharmacist and then you've moved, I don't know whether it was quite organically into coaching, or whether it was quite a moment of going, I'm not going to work as a pharmacist anymore, I want to do this, or whether both go hand in hand. How was that from being a pharmacist, and do you still call yourself, and are you, still practicing as such, or is your focus and your I was going to say your joy, but that might be the wrong word. I feel like I'm putting words in your mouth. In the coaching arena.
I love your words, Jules. Always so zesty and positive. And
maybe not always right.
But they're very uplifting to listen to.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I think, do you know what? I think we started this conversation by me telling you that I do stuff, and then I kind of berate myself and say, it's just not enough. You can be doing more. And I think for me as a pharmacist, working as a pharmacist for maybe a decade, I worked in amazing teaching hospitals across London and did really wonderful stuff. But I reached a kind of point where I thought, there is more that I can be doing. And I joined the pharmaceutical industry, and I moved into sales and marketing, and I got to a point where I had a team of people. And one of the things you do as a manager is invest in your people. And through that process of helping them grow, I think I kind of found a whole new world of learning and development. And I thought, right, that is where I want to focus more. So that's really how I got into that. And then I then did the very thing we were talking about that people in learning and development do, is invest in themselves. So then I came on your course, the Edge NLP course, and then the hypnotherapy, the timeline hypnotherapy. And then I did, formal coaching qualifications. And I'm constantly looking for different tools to kind of augment the practice. And that's how I kind of got into the Lego. But I do miss, I'm still a geek. I'm very interested in science. You laugh at me, but I'm doing a contact tracing course with the Johns Hopkins University.
Oh my goodness.
By the end of it, I'm going to be a qualified contact tracer in the US. But seriously, I was doing it just because I was interested from a personal perspective in knowing, well, what do these people need to know?
Wow.
And I want to know too, because there's obviously a lot of scientific content there, but also the ethics of social distancing and all those kind of things that have to go into the equation. So yes, that's the kind of thing I'm interested in.
I love the fact that your inner geek is allowed to come out to play every now and again. So we've covered quite a few things here, but the final thing that I want to talk about is not only are you all of these things, you're also an author. So tell me about your fabulous books.
Oh, bless. It's quite funny hearing someone call me an author. I don't really quite see myself as one, but I think what happened when I stopped working as a pharmacist, I realized I do actually miss all that explaining and helping other people just see what happens in our bodies when they work and when they don't work. And so I think these books are a platform for me to kind of engage in a lot of research in an area that I really am passionate about, but also more importantly, gift it to and reach a wider audience and just inspire them, because I think I sense that, you know, when you don't know enough about something, you might be scared or apprehensive about it. And I think the more confidence we can give our kids around how amazing their bodies are, but also how amazing the science is, then hopefully they will go and find out more. So the latest book was really written about the COVID virus, the coronavirus. It's called King COVID the 19th and the Great Invasion. And it's, again, you know, because of the situation and because I knew that getting an illustrator would just take forever, I got some wonderfully talented people to narrate it for me.
Wonderfully talented. I'll just repeat that.
Wonderfully talented. Are you hearing, people? And the queen, because obviously if you've got a king, you've got to have a queen. The queen in this story is beautifully brought to life by our very own lovely Jules.
Thank you. I thank you.
Honestly, I've had so many comments. Who is that? Who is doing the queen? It is amazing.
It was so much fun to do. And it's, as you said, it's such an important story, just from a point of view for children, just to really understand. And that's, as you said, you know, when people don't have the knowledge, that's where fear sets in. I think, you know, this as a story is so clear. There's such clarity in the message in a really fun way that allows children to engage, you know, wholeheartedly with what's being, you know, the story and the images and the world that you've created. Yeah, it was brilliant, and it was so much fun to record.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you again for bringing it to life so wonderfully, because again, you know, we've had to improvise. I wouldn't have necessarily produced it as a free gift on YouTube. And since that, you know, I'm building a website. I'm going to be enabling kids to download a black and white picture for them to paint. There's a microscopic fact corner on our web page, so people can ask lots of questions, and then we'll put them under the microscope and show them what things look like, what cells look like. So it's hopefully going to be more interactive and just show kids that science doesn't have to be boring. You can know the fact, but then use your imagination to bring it to life and make it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said there that it's on YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel, or are you able to give me the link so I can share it?
Yes, so the YouTube channel, it's also on my Facebook page, which bears the same name.
That's quite helpful.
Shall I give it to you now?
Yeah, give it to me now, please.
Okay, so it's called, one word, Body Works, body as in our body works, and then the letter 4, and then kids. Body Works for kids. That's
so Body Works 4 with the number 4.
Number 4, yes.
Okay, wonderful. And that's the YouTube channel. Is that also, as you said there, is that also your Facebook page?
That's my children's Facebook page, yes. So there's lots of exciting things on there. I think the other wonderful thing about this book, in the absence of an illustrator, I got children to draw their impressions from having listened to the book. So it's totally brought to life by, obviously, your voice, but also drawings from kids around the world, which has been amazing.
That's incredible. That is incredible. So if anybody wants to find out more about Anat's books, please go to Bodyworks for Kids, and you will find out all the information there, either on YouTube or the Facebook page. And also, Anat, just from the point of view, you know, we were talking about the work that you do with Lego. If anybody's listening to this and suddenly thinks, wow, that's a fantastic concept, and I really want to either do it from a personal point of view, or I have a team of people that I want to get involved in this, how can they find out more?
So the best way is, again, either LinkedIn or Facebook. Just use my name, Anat Shabi. A-N-A-T. Please don't call me Anat. Anat, A-N-A-T. Shabi, S-H-A-B-I.
Yeah.
That's where you'll find me.
Okay, wonderful. So LinkedIn is where you're updating most about the work that you're doing with the Lego.
So LinkedIn has got a lot of articles actually about recent workshops, because in keeping with the times, the workshops focus on mindset, so growth versus fixed mindset, and also resilience, so how to stay resilient. And it's all with Lego, so lots of fun.
Amazing, amazing. And Nat, thank you so much for talking to me today. As I always say to people, it feels like we could talk for ages, but we've covered the things that I really was interested in hearing about, definitely around the Lego and the work that you're doing with the book. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being with me today on this very sunny day. And I really hope as soon as this craziness is over, we'll be able to get together for a glass of wine or two.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me on. Can I just say, the time has just flown by and it's just been so lovely. You've got a wonderful energy, even through this medium. You know, I can't see you, but even through audio, you've got this wonderful energy and such a lovely way of interviewing people. So, so lovely. I'm sending you a big virtual hug, and I'm looking forward to a glass of bubbly at the end of all this.
Absolutely. And Nat, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, my dear.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
You too. Bye. Bye-bye.